First of all, thank you for joining me on this show. I know the show is maybe a little bit off topic than what I normally cover. This kind of thing is actually very important to me in my personal life, but because I'm so busy with my arts and my activism, I actually don't get to talk about this stuff as much. And after the day that I've had, the past few days that I've had, I just really needed something that was not as serious or negative as politics and all that stuff. So we're doing numerology, and this is actually a video that I owe a few people, so I figured I'd go ahead and do it. Hey, Jan. Okay. Now, if you know what numerology is, it is the study of numbers. And what that means is that numbers have typically been seen and experienced to have certain frequencies or certain energies, or they mean certain things. And before you think this is all New Age woo-woo, numerology actually goes back thousands of years. Tarot is especially rooted in the Kabbalistic tradition. That's the Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism, but there are other ancient numerological systems. And again, it's not woo-woo. You don't have to believe anything because numbers are numbers. They don't change their meaning, especially once you get down to root numbers. They don't change their significance. There's nothing to believe. There's nothing to go against your religion or not religion. If you're a fundamentalist Christian, if you're a fundamentalist atheist, whatever you are, the numbers are just numbers. And sacred geometry is actually starting to pick up some steam. The idea of the golden ratio is very important in terms of the way nature puts things together. The idea of what is beautiful is based on the golden ratio. So anyway, so numbers have a lot of meanings for people. And so it can be something like you see your birth date, often. Maybe that means a good thing for you. Or maybe the house number of where you lived as a kid and you had a great, childhood. I wouldn't know what that's like, but maybe you did. And so you see that number and it means good things for you. Numbers also have significance when they are when they're seen in pairs or triples or quadruples. For instance, 1 is a good number. It may be the loneliest number, but it is a good number. 11 is even better. 11 is a master number. 111, 111 is good, and of course 1111, 1111 is considered a great number. People tend to go, "Oh my God, I saw 1111." Well, okay, and every November 11th you will. And twice a day you'll see 1111. It's, it depends on if that has significance to you. It does to me. It's a really great number. Again, it's a master number. So when you see 2, then you see 22, then you see 222. 222 has a very powerful message for me. I'm not saying, but it is. It does. Whatever your number is, it could be your number. For instance, your favorite number might be 1013 or something, So it's, let me turn this off. Your numbers are the numbers that you tend to see, okay? But what we're going to talk about tonight, and this is just an intro into numerology, I wanted to do Karmic Year, Soul Card, and Life Path. Because that's real easy. You don't have to know anything about the tarot. You don't really have to know anything about numerology. And from those numbers, you can then go on the Google and you can look up information yourself. So here's what you do. We're going to calculate the karmic year. And the karmic year is the year that usually an unexpected event happened that really impacts how you deal with other events in your life. Now, when I was first introduced to this concept, when I was 16, my dance teacher, who was wonderful, amazing dancer and dance teacher, she was part American Indian. And she introduced me to tarot. She introduced me to numerology. She introduced me to crystal ball gazing, although I'm not as good at that. That wasn't my thing, but I do love the cards. And in fact, I was looking for my deck to see what deck I had, which I thought I had my favorite deck with me as I'm traveling. I don't. My favorite deck so far is the Arthurian Legend deck. If you don't know what a tarot, let me back up a little bit. The tarot deck is a series of 78 cards, and they're broken up into the major arcana and the minor arcana. The major arcana, there's 22 cards, and it's numbered 0 to 21. I can do a whole show on this later. I'm not going to get really involved in this, but these are tarot cards right here. I love this deck, although I'm very upset with this deck. That they confuse the fire and air elements. If ever you see a tarot deck that's got wands or spears as the fire element, that's ridiculous. And I'll go into that in a different show. If you're interested. If you're not interested, I won't do it. You tell me. Are you interested? Okay. All right. So anyway, so this is the tarot deck. Green Man. We love him. All right. So anyway, so it's 22 major arcana and 56 minor arcana. And the 56 minor arcana, those four are broken up into 4 suits, and those became the playing cards that we're all familiar with. You know, you play Go Fish and Jim Rummy or whatever those games are. I don't play those. So anyway, what we're going to be using is the elements of, that's a bad word. We're going to use the meanings and correspondences of the cards 1 through 9. We're not going to use 0 because you can't get 0 from your numbers. That's like a way higher math. We're not doing that, all right? Okay, so here's what you do. Karmic year. You're going to add together your day, your month, and your year of your birth. So, for instance, my birthday is September 29th I'm not going to say the year. But I know the year. So it's the month, the day, and the year. And you add those together. And when I add 9 plus 29 plus, that number comes to 2010. So my karmic year was in 2010. Now, the interesting thing about this is that when my dance teacher was teaching me this, she said out of all the people she'd ever done numbers for, I was the first person where the karmic year was in the future. Because again, I was 16. And so my karmic year hadn't happened yet, which really sucked because with all the crap I went through as a kid and young teenager, you'd have thunk that my karmic year, this year that's supposed to be such an important life lesson, that it would have been when I was a kid when a lot of crappy stuff was going on. It also meant I had that many years to look forward to and worry what the hell is going to happen in 2010 that's going to be my karmic year. Little side story here. When I had my daughter, she was literally just placed in my arms, and I said, what time is it? So I could have her time that she was born. And I did the numbers, and instantly, and her karmic year was 2009. So when she was born in 98, I then had to look forward from 1998 to 2009, just dreading that what's going to be her karmic event, and is hers of 2009 somehow connected to mine, or vice versa? Is mine connected to hers because mine was in 2010? So anyway, so you're going to get a number. If you have done your karmic year, go ahead and put it in the comments so I can see what your year is. Give me the full year. When you add your month, your day, and your year together, add them up. If you're on your phone, you may have to do this old school and get some pencil and paper, or start counting on your toes and figure it up. Or Let's see, what do we have? What was that? 10 plus 13 plus 1969. Is that what we got? Mr. Richardson? That would have put your karmic year in 1992. So y'all see how that's happening? Month, day, and year. And it's going to be your karmic year. Now, your karmic year is not the calendar year. It is the year from your birth date to the birth date of the next year. So, for instance, my karmic year is 2010, but my birthday is at the end of September because Libra. Anyway, so my karmic year started September 29th, 2010, and went through my birthday in the morning of September 29th, 2011. So most of my karmic year actually happened in 2011. And let me tell you, it was a doozy. Oh my God, I came so close. It was a great year. It was a really wonderful year. Oh, I came so close. Okay, so Jan says his karmic year was 1969. Wasn't that Woodstock? Did you go to Woodstock? Candace was 2011. Wow, you're one of, yeah. If you had known about this years ago, would you have worried? I worried for years. And okay, so before we go any further with this, let's talk about the karmic year itself, and then we're going to do some other stuff with your number. So I'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about my karmic year so you can understand. Sometimes the karmic year, something really awful happens. And in theory, with the karmic year, which goes from your birth date to birth date, not the calendar year, birth date to birth date, in theory, really great things can happen if that's your karma. I've never heard of anyone having really great stuff happening during their karmic year, mainly because karma means action. Karma does not mean getting even. You know, oh, karma's a bitch. No, karma is neutral. Karma is the action that you're getting based on the action of what you've done before. It's the law of attraction, the law of reciprocity. The energy you send out is the energy you receive. And so karma has to deal with action, and action is neutral. But with the karmic year, you are going to have an experience that affects you, that is a lasting life lesson. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that's awful, but it can be really sad. Here's what happened to me. My daughter made it through her karmic year, and she was at a school that was just in upheaval. It was a new school. They didn't have enough desks. They didn't have enough books. It was just crazy. And there were things that happened during that year that affect her to this day. And me knowing that that was her karmic year, I tried to be really aware of what she was going through so that I could help her. Yeah. You can't take someone's karma away from them. That was one thing I learned for sure. But in 2010, August of 2010, my birthday's in September. In August of 2010, I left my horrible marriage and moved out and became a single mom. And I did it on the 5th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. Now, if Hurricane Katrina wasn't my karmic year, like what the hell could be my karmic year? Well, it was going to be 2010. And so in August of 2010, I moved out, became a single mom. And I went through 2010, early 2011, I started my sexual awakening and my tantric studies. That was amazing. Please see my other video about that. I won't talk about that now. Or you can take my Tantra course, which is online. And And so that's on my website, trishcausey.com. So 2011 was actually pretty awesome. And I was thinking, wow, all the shit I've been through, I've earned some great karma. Whoa. Was I wrong? Okay. So here's what happened, and let me give you some background. Hey, Jane. How are you? Thank you so much for telling me you can hear me. I appreciate it. Yes, please send good energy to the United States. You know we need it, girl. Yes, we do. Oh, my God. But that's why we're doing a happy show about how awful karmic years can be. Okay. All right. Sorry. I needed some levity, y'all. Okay. So anyway, when I was a kid, I lost both of my grandfathers within a year of each other, when I was 12 and then when I was 13. And in fact, my grandfather, my mother's father, died on the day of my 8th grade graduation. This was Catholic school. You know, I don't know how school, 8th grade graduation was a thing. And my other grandfather, my father's father, had died a year before. Yeah, the year before. And so one of the things that really hit me when my maternal grandfather died on the day of my 8th grade graduation was that he had always bugged me to write him. Give him a call, write him a letter. This was back when people, wrote letters by hand. And he really wanted me to just stay in touch. And I would always say something like, well, I'm so busy. I've got dance, I've got ballet class, and, then there's tap class and jazz class. And then I have, my singing. I sing in the choir, and then I sing at school. And then I have school, and then I have Girl Scouts, and I'm, on track to get the Marion Medal, which is like the highest award you could get in, Catholic Girl Scouts. And so for me as a kid, I had all the time in the world. The idea of my grandfather's dying was just not something that really entered my mind. Even when my paternal grandfather died suddenly, it was still like a fluke thing, There was no sense of mortality at all for me because I was 12, 13 years old. So my grandfather, Abernathy, he was always asking me, we want to hear from you. Well, tell us about your dance classes. Tell us what you're learning. Tell us what you're working on in piano. Tell us, Girl Scouts, what badge are you working on? But I was always too busy. Too busy. So when he died, of course, I felt the worst grief and guilt and, being raised Catholic, I feel guilty for everything. So this was just worse. But I could not believe that I would never talk to my grandfather again. So fast forward many years to 2011. I'm now a single mom. I am a Broadway journalist and doing Broadway journalism from Mississippi, which was quite the feat, let me tell you. I covered the Tony Awards. I was in the press room at the Tony Awards in June 2011. And in that experience of being in New York, one of the directors who is my top 2 mentors of my life, especially for theater and acting and drama and what the arts do for you, the person, but more especially what the arts do for society. He was in the hospital. And when I was covering the Tony Awards, I was staying with a friend of mine who was way up on the Upper West Side. And the Tonys were happening way down in the theater district. And being a single mom, I did not have a lot of money. And I had used the little bit of money I had in New York. I had used it for cab fare, you know, this, that, and the other little things, no big things. So when it came time to the Tony, the day itself, I didn't have money for cab fare. And I had to walk 24 blocks, long New York blocks, if you know what I'm talking about, in Manhattan, 24 long blocks to get to where the Tonys were happening that year. The press room was at the Jewish Community Center, like right next to the Beacon. Anyway, so my friend Richard, this director that I had worked with twice, I stage managed for him twice, and he was just an incredible teacher. He was a teacher at LaGuardia High School for the Performing Arts, or however that big ass long name is now, the Fame High School. He was a drama teacher there, and he asked me, he said, come see me. I'm in the hospital. You know, this cancer is really bad in my leg again. And he played it off. I didn't know that the cancer had returned. Okay, this is getting too long. Anyway, what happened is that because I knew I would have to walk all those blocks, there was no way for me to walk to the hospital where he was and then walk back to the press area for the Tonys. And so I had to make the choice. Do I go see him or do I cover the Tonys? I had no idea he was as sick as he was. And I told him, I said, look, I'm really short on money. I can't get there. You know, the Tonys are tonight and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I will come back to New York and I will see you because I'll be back in like a month or two. That was June 2011. September 22nd or 24th, something like that. I see a Facebook post. Somebody, so-and-so, posted on Richard Harden's wall. Then I see another one. So-and-so posted on Richard Harden's wall. So-and-so posted. I keep seeing these. I'm like, well, what the heck is going on? Is he doing a Broadway show? That would be amazing. You know, he finally got the dream after directing off-Broadway, et cetera, and regional. No. It was people leaving their memorial wishes because he had passed away. I literally sat in my chair, my office chair, my chair at my desk, for 3 days, crying my eyes out, because I hadn't learned this lesson when my grandfathers were alive and then passed away, and I felt the guilt that, you know, tell people you love them while they're here. Acknowledge people while they're here. Show people that you appreciate them while they're here, and that there's nothing so important, and you are never so busy that you can't just send people a quick message, you know, pick up the phone. Of course, this is all much easier now with social media than when I was a kid, but I had social media in 2011, and I put covering the Tonys more important, because I was thinking, I'm a single mom. I really need this. I need to get my name out there, you know, blah, blah. Because I was thinking of, you know, the future of myself and my daughter. I was not thinking, oh, this is part of my karmic year. So anyway, I couldn't believe that I had let this happen again. And so after everything good that had happened in my life that karmic year, a few days before my birthday, the end of my karmic year, this happened, and I was devastated. I mean, I got up and I slept in my bed, but the next morning I would go sit in my chair to work, and I would literally cry the entire day. I was doubled over in pain, crying. I couldn't believe this happened. And so it was just really awful. And so it didn't mean to be such a downer, but the karmic year, it's not going to be something you think it is, but it's going to be something that impacts your life, that it affects you greatly. And you know, here's what I did after I was able to stop crying 3 days later. I mentally made a list of people who had affected my life and changed my life by having them as a teacher or a mentor or someone who helped me. And that came down to just a handful of people. And I went out of my way to hunt these people down because I was not in contact with any of them. And I needed them to know, even if they didn't remember me, I needed them to know that I appreciated them. One person was Mark Lopez, former principal dancer with San Francisco, who helped put me on the path to my Irish roots, because he's American Indian and his poetry was amazing. He wrote about his bear totem, or his spiritual animals, and I connected with that. And he's the one who put me on the path of, well, where do you come from? Who are your people? Start there. And I did. And that's how I began my connection to Ireland, Scotland, Irish, because in the South, you don't get that connection to your culture. In the South, you're Southern first, then Christian, then American. And so I missed out on that whole Irish and Scottish thing. So that was incredibly important. And anybody who knows me, who knows how, pagan witchy I am, y'all know. Okay. Another one was was a teacher at St. Joseph High School in Jackson, Mississippi. Kate, who helped get me back on the path of music, because I hated music, because I had an evil piano teacher. And I hated music. I hated the piano. I literally hated the piano. When I walked by my piano in our living room, I wanted to chop it up for firewood. And we didn't even have a fireplace, so that would have been pointless, but it would just feel good to destroy a piano, because I hated music that much because of my piano teacher. And she got me back on music. She was really sneaky. She was really smart, but she did it. And not long after we moved to the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, I started in musical theater, and that's all she wrote on that, until I started taking official voice lessons. And I took privately, but then in college, I had a teacher. My first voice teacher in college really loved my super high notes, because I was a coloratura soprano. And so my voice lessons were essentially me hitting high notes for him. And I hated that. I wasn't learning anything. And then my next teacher was just, couldn't stand her. And so what I did was I dropped out of college, and or I said, I'm not coming back, because I'm not going to be a music major, because the teachers are using me. They're I'm not actually learning anything. And so there was a teacher. She was actually the head of the music department. Her name was Rhonda Fisher at the time, Rhonda Hood at the time, and Rhonda Fisher now. And she contacted me and said, I will teach you. And I said, no, I'm done. I hate music. I hate singing. I hate voice. I hate opera, especially. And I'm just not going to do this anymore. I hate music. And she said, look, I'm teaching from home. I've gotten permission to teach from home. So, just come and we'll do some things and we'll work on whatever you work. I said, I'm not singing opera. You can't make me sing opera. If I'm not a music major anymore, so I'm paying for this. These are private lessons, so I'm going to sing what I want to sing. You're not going to make me sing opera. She said, okay. I said, well, I'm going to do musical theater. She said, okay, we can do musical theater. She said, whatever. She said, just take voice lessons from me. Just take the lessons. I don't want you to give up on your talent. So what did we do? We worked Phantom of the Opera, which technically is a musical, but of course the singing is mostly rather opera-esque, and especially for Christine. I had Broadway dreams at that point. And my half-hour lesson tended to go an hour every time, and she was just amazing. Again, this is another teacher who was very smart and very sneaky, but a good sneaky. She got me to love music again, and she was very instrumental for me. And so another person for me was Kennard Fight, who was my first director. He was an amazing director. He could be a real asshole of a person, but could not dispute his vision and his sheer knowledge as a director. He was amazing. And I got to tell him before he passed away, he was one of those people that I just had to make sure that I told. And the other person was Richard, and I didn't get to tell him. He knew. I mean, I had told him, hey, I really appreciate what you're doing, and he knew how hard it was for me to do what I was doing from Mississippi. He really respected me as a production stage manager, but I still didn't get to have that official thank you. And so it just hurt. It just hurt. So your karmic year from your birth date to your birth date there's going to be, for most people, and I have never had anyone tell me there wasn't something that happened. When they think about what happened birthday to birthday, like I say, okay, well, your karmic year was 1985. Let's say their birthday's in July. And and they're thinking, oh, well, something really bad happened in March of 86. And they're thinking, well, my karmic year, well, that happened in 86. Yeah, but that's your karmic year. It's from your birthday to birthday, not the calendar. So only you know what happened in that year, birthday to birthday. But that is the year that whatever the event was or series of events that happened, that it's been a really powerful life lesson that's kind of molded how you approach similar situations in the future, or how you approach life in the future. Like I said, I mean, I try to tell everyone who is with me and helps me that I try to tell them that I appreciate you, that I appreciate what you're doing. I don't have the money to pay people to do certain things. They do, they help me out of the goodness of their heart. And I appreciate that. I also try to reciprocate that. That is a big part of why I'm an activist, is that I'm trying to, pay it forward to the next generation, Who is it? Is it Toni Morrison? It says activism is the rent I pay for life on Earth, or something along those lines. I'm badly paraphrasing, but yeah, the karmic year is big, and if you feel comfortable, you can share with the class what your karmic year what the event was, but you don't have to, because oftentimes it's personal. It's very personal. But anyway, So that's the karmic year. And only you know, unless you share, only you know what it is going to be for you. And that is truly important. It's a big life lesson. And I honestly did not mean to go on that long about the karmic year, but it's truly important. So then we're going to move on to the soul card now. Does anybody have any questions about the karmic year before we go on? Let me get out my calculator and y'all can type. Start typing. And hey, Michael. So let's take, okay, we're going to take mine because mine's easy math. All right. We're moving on to the soul card. All right. The soul card. Okay. My karmic year was 2010. So that's 2010. Now in numerology, we do a thing called reducing numbers. You can usually reduce it if it's 21 or lower. Sometimes though, you want to reduce to a single digit. And that's what we're going to do with the soul card. And the formula, again, Michael asked. That's his former math and science teacher self coming out. What was that formula? It's the month plus the date plus the year of your birth. Okay? So mine is 9/29/1972. And that karmic year comes to 2010. Now with 2010, that's 2010. To reduce that number to my soul card, I'm going to add, that's how we reduce, we add the individual numbers together. So I'm going to add 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 0. Yes, go ahead and put the zeros in. Don't argue with me. So obviously that's 2 plus 1, and that's 3. So my soul card then is the 3, the third card of the major arcana of the tarot, and that is the Empress. That is my soul card. And the soul card is your soul's personality, let's say, through all of your lifetimes. Okay? So if you don't believe in multiple lifetimes, you're just here for the food. I get it. You don't have to believe anything. I'm just sharing information. Okay? All right. So for those of us who do subscribe to reincarnation and living multiple lives, because there's just way too much to experience in one lifetime. So 2 plus 1 is 3. And the Empress is the third card in the major arcana. And the Empress is all about creativity. She is loving and nurturing, which I know is not me. You know, I get it, but she's very creative. She's often shown as a very pregnant woman, which also is not me. And she's all about nurturing and caring about. But as the pregnant woman, she is giving birth to the future. And so for me as an artist, activist, that is exactly what I'm trying to do, is to create works and to do activism that will be somehow beneficial to the next generation. This generation, if we can stop arguing, but definitely the future generation. So I can definitely see how the Empress is my soul card. Now let's take, so Candace was 2011. So you're going to add 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 1, and that's 4. And the Emperor, well, tell me if you are familiar with the tarot, because I don't want to tell you stuff you already know. But 2 plus 0 plus 1 plus 1 is 4, which is the Emperor. The Emperor, as in the major arcana and kind of your soul card, this is the Emperor is truly a servant of his people, in that he has courage and conviction, and he always tries to do what's best for his people. That means that making the right choice is not always the easy choice. And that doesn't mean that it's a painless choice, but the Emperor is willing to make the choice that needs to be made for the better, for whatever is better for the tribe or the clan or, his people. And so anyway, so that's the soul card for Candace, the Emperor. So you can, go online and learn more about the Emperor, the 4th card of the Major Arcana. And let's see, Karmic Year was 1979. So 1 + 9 + 6 + 9 is 25. Okay, here we go. Okay, so in reducing, adding together the numbers there for Jan 1969, he came up with 25. Well, 25 is over 21, right? We remember 25, don't we? So anyway, well, the reason we go 0 to 21 is because that's the Minor Arcana. Now, of course, you can't. The first card in the Major Arcana. The first card in the Major Arcana is a 0. You can't add your numbers to get a 0. So some people stay with 22, but really, I feel better sticking with 21. But Jan's number is 25. That means that because it's over 21, we need to reduce it one more time, because we need to get down to at least a number that's below 21, but preferably in a single digit for your soul card. So we're going to reduce 25, which is going to be 2 + 5, which is 7, right? 2 + 5. Are we counting on our toes yet? Anyway, so yeah, so 7. 7 is the Chariot in the Major Arcana, and essentially the Chariot represents that you know what to do to have control. If you are not controlling necessarily, not in that negative way of controlling, but you know how to rein in different opposing forces for balance. Now, maybe one kind of gets away, but you know how to rein that in. The other side gets a little bit out of the way. Yeah, you know how to rein that in. The Chariot is usually shown as a charioteer, obviously, leading a horse team. Usually, it's a black horse and a white horse to show polar opposites. And they're trying to going in a different direction, right? Like polar opposites do, right? They're on either end of a spectrum. But you, as a chariot, have this ability to rein them in. And I've never encountered the Chariot as someone who, reins opposing forces in a mean way. It's always in a good way. Because you just know how to work with people or work with situations. You just know how to rein things in so that there's balance. That's what you want. So, hello, Hayat. We're not really doing that right now. Iman, let's see if Jod is the right guy for me or not. Ooh. If we have time for a reading at the end, we'll do that. Okay. I don't know that we're going to get to that, but thank you for joining us here. So do y'all understand how to do that? You start with a year and then you reduce it by adding the individual numbers together. And then that's going to give you a number. If that number is over 21, you want to reduce that down to under 21, preferably to a single digit. Once you have your single digit, that is your soul card, okay? That is the card that's your soul. And that carries you through all the lifetimes. Now, what you do, let's do this for your path for this year. Let's say, so you're going to take your month and your day and you're going to add it to this year. So we're in 2018. If you have not had your birthday yet, you can use 2017 to see what the influence is over your birthday so far. Let's go ahead and use 2017. I don't know how many people have already had a birthday. It's just, wait, where are we? April? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do 9 plus 29, that's me, plus 2017. That came up to be 2055. Now, I'm not using that as a number, although the components of that, 2055, the 2 has special meaning for me, and the 55 as a master number has meaning for me. 55 means you are building things. And if I look at what I have been through since my birthday in September of last year, I am definitely building things. And but here's the interesting thing, is that adding that together, 2055, that's 2 plus 0 plus 5 plus 5, that's 12. That's the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man can have different interpretations, but the usual interpretation is that the Hanged Man is willing to make the sacrifice of short-term fun, short-term gain for the long haul. The Hanged Man is willing to make the sacrifice for the long term. Ooh, so yours is Iman, sorry. It's 2029. Okay, so you're going to add that together. 2029 is going to be 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 9, and that's 13. Now, I would stick with 13 because we're dealing with the years right now. We're not dealing with your karmic year. We're dealing with this year. Your karmic year is a different number. That's your month and date and year of birth. Okay? So 2029, if that is what you're saying for this year, you're going to reduce that down to 13. 13 is, don't get scared, 13 is the death card. But it's not death as in you dying, not you physically. It's about a transition. Because in order for something new to happen, something has to die. So the death card is actually a great card because it means that something new really is going to happen or take hold in your life, or new opportunities maybe that you've been really wanting, or that you haven't had a chance to go for certain things in your life or your career. The death card is a great card to get. It doesn't always mean that what needs to go will go quietly. It doesn't mean that the ending of something is going to be pleasant or fun. But if you get the death card, it means that whatever it is that's going to end, it needs to end so that you can have this new beginning, so that you can have this great new opportunity to do new things, bigger things, better things, etc. The death card is not the worst card in the deck. In the tarot, the worst card is going to be the 9 of Swords. If you see that, that's when you want to freak out. The death card is a good card. And Iman says, I've really started experiencing that change. Well, depending on when your birthday is, you may feel it even more. Like you will, especially if you're open to that energy now, and you're looking at, oh wow, I'm aware of this now. You'll really start to see this. Hey Candace. So, Candace, the card for this year is all we're doing. So it's going to be your month, your day, your birth month, your birth date, and then this year. I was doing mine for 2017 as an example, because it was the Hanged Man, which is about sacrificing for the long term, not going for the short term gains, instead holding out for the long term. And that's exactly what I've been through this year. So February 9th, wow, so you just had a birthday. Oh, cool. So Iman, your birthday, if you've already started to feel a change, I think it's going to get bigger and more obvious for you, because you still have 10 months to go. Well, maybe 9.5 months to go, before it really comes through. And think of that. Pregnancy is, 9 months, 9.5 months. I mean, you know, how long it takes to gestate a baby, you know, and give life and give fruition that way. So yeah, just be aware of the energy. Okay, I'm missing out on some messages here. What was the formula again? Hey, Izaru Blanco. Was that Spanish or Italian? I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Hi. The formula for your karmic year is going to be your birth date, your birth month, your birth day, the day itself, and then the year you were born. So like I was born in September. So I'm going to use September and then 29th because that's my birthday, and then the year I was born. That's the karmic year. And we're going to reduce that number down to 1. And by reducing, what that means is we're going to add those individual numbers together. Okay? And so I know I'm missing some. Hey, Valeria from Mexico. Howdy. Hola. You want to know what happened? We're not doing love readings, but y'all, we could. I've got the cards. Let me warm up, and we'll do it. We'll do some love readings soon. You know, German last name. Interesting. Yeah. So I actually just enlisted the services about love and twin flame because I'm so subjective. I can't be objective about this. I need somebody else's eyeballs on what's going on, you know? So I definitely understand. Here's the thing. Now we're going to do, so everybody has their card for last year, 2017, 12, 14, 18. Okay. Right. Okay. So Candace. All right. So what was 17? Because we've got a long way to go before we get to December of 2018. See if 2017, Candace, turns out to be 9 or if it's something else. So 12 plus 14 plus 2017 is 2043. We're not worried with that number. We're not using that number. It's 2 plus 4, 2 plus 0 plus 4 plus 3, and that is going to be 9. So 9 is the Hermit. And the Hermit is not necessarily that you're just going to go off and, you know, live in a cottage all by yourself in the woods. That's my dream. Not happening anytime soon. But what it means is that this year, from December 2017, which wasn't that long ago, through the, you know, to your birthday in December of this year, that you are turning inward. Maybe you just put your energy out to helping a lot of people or doing lots of projects at work, or maybe you're, you know, waka waka jazz hands, and, you know, you just spend a lot of time putting your energy outward, and now is a time for you to bring energy inward. So your card for right now is going to be the Hermit. It's sometimes called the Seeker, and I like that better because instead of trying to find answers outside of you, you're trying to find the answers and meanings from within. So without, so within. As without, so within. As above, so below. You know, all of those axioms. So, oh, Valeria, honey. How about we do a love reading? Like, maybe we'll do this either later this week or next week. We'll do that. We'll just do some cards. Okay? Right now we're talking about numerology. But hang on, Valeria. Your situation sounds almost as complicated as mine. I mean, yours is more complicated than mine. But anyway, okay, so that's how we get the card for this year. Now, see, Candace says I like that. Well, the thing is that it doesn't matter if you don't like it. It's still the number. No worries, Valeria. You're fine. But Candace, do you see what I mean? You see how the 9 is the 9. You know, and it's interesting how you put in your, when you did your birthday, your number originally, you did it for 2018. Well, we're not there yet. So you're still dealing with what your number from December of last year, right? And I did the same thing too, because, you know, my birthday's in September. My birthday's September 29th, in case I haven't said that already. In case anybody wants to, you know, send me chocolates or Barbara Streisand CDs. Okay, so Izaru says 3 plus 2 plus 1977. Okay, that's when you were born, right? So we're going to add 3 plus 2 plus 1977. Your karmic year was 1982. And here's where I want to be really careful, because your karmic year happened when you were a child. So your karmic year started March 2nd of 1982 to March 2nd of 1983. And so whatever happened in that time frame, there might have been something that happened from your birthday of that year 82 to your birthday of 83 that has had a lasting impact on your life. That's what the karmic year means, is that an event happened or a series of events happened that really affects how you deal with things now, how you see the world now, how you deal with issues now, how you deal with people and relationships. That's where I find the karmic year is most useful to understand, is that it's not that a thing happened or things happened, it's that the events that happened affected you or will affect you if you're in the future in a way that it really impacts how you deal with other people, how you handle situations, etc. So Izaru, I don't need to know what your situation was, if anything happened at all. It could just have been, you know, you started kindergarten and that was awesome and now you're a kindergarten teacher. That would be great. But do y'all see what I mean by the karmic year and how it affects? Okay. So, anyway, okay, so we have, who else was here? Okay, so, all right, so 1982, that was your karmic year, Izaru. And now to get your soul card, we're going to reduce that. And by reducing, that means we're just going to add it together. So that's going to be 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 2. And that number is 20. And that's the judgment card. And we're going to reduce that one more time since it's not a single digit. 2 plus 0 is 2. And dos. Deux. That much I know in a couple languages. And so that means that your soul card is the High Priestess, which is the second card, the second card of the major arcana. And similar to the Magician, which is the first card, the High Priestess basically is very intuitive, knows how to make things happen, and it's kind of difficult to pull one over on the High Priestess. But look up the High Priestess if you're not familiar with the tarot. Again, she's the second card in the major arcana. So anybody else? Did I miss anybody? And Valeria, I'm going to read your comment in full later. I can't see it all right now, but anyway. All right, so we've covered karmic year, soul card, and the path for the current year. It's already 9:02. We've been doing this an hour now. So do we want to go into anything else, or do we want to cut this off and follow the rule of always leave them wanting more? And tip your waitress. Don't try the veal. Veal is cruel. How they make veal is very cruel. So, so if anybody has if you have any questions that don't involve card readings for love, amour, yeah, go ahead and ask them. and I'll see what I can do. You know, the numbers are amazing, and I can't imagine, you know, not doing this. I do numbers automatically. Like when somebody tells me their birthday, I'll automatically do their numbers. It gives me insight into who they are as a person. So like if I were going to go out on a date with someone, of course I would want to know, you know, what is their birthday? Because mainly I need to know their Western zodiac. I need to know their Chinese zodiac, and I need to know their karmic year. Have they gone through their bullshit yet? If they haven't gone through their bullshit, I don't know. And then I want to know about where they are this year. What are they going through? So the numbers can really help. You know, when you're looking at a business dealing with somebody, a personal relationship with somebody, it really can prove helpful. All right, so Candace is leaving us, so I think we are going to go ahead and sign off for this evening. I greatly appreciate your participation. And if you want to see more on tarot, I would love to do more. I really miss the tarot. In fact, when I was looking for my cards, you know, because I've been traveling, I was looking for my cards. I actually don't have my favorite deck with me, but I have two great decks, and I am getting a deck. It's the Sex Magic Tarot deck. So Valeria, if you're still watching, that's when we need to do our readings on about love, right? We're going to get that Sex Magic deck in. So anyway, all right, yeah, so Jan, thank you so much for joining. I think we've already lost Michael. Oh, there's Michael. And thank you, those of you who joined in from Mexico. I don't know, Izaru and Valeria, if y'all can say where you're from. Who else was here? Iman. I'm just trying to make sure I get everybody who left a comment. So, oh, Candace says, yes, please. Okay, well, look, here's what y'all do. Contact me either through my website, trishcausey.com. It's just my name, trishcausey.com. There's a contact form. Or, you know, find me on social media and say, hey, I want you to do a show on ... whatever, you know. Girl, I know. It is a gorgeous deck, too. Super sexy. So what about this? For sure, when I get that deck, I'll do a love reading sex magic card show. Why don't we do that? That'd be fun. I think so. Because with everything going on in the world, we need some fun time. We need de-stress, enjoy and laugh and love, and just remember that there are good things going on in spite of all the bad stuff in the news. And so anyway, so is that it? We're going to make a date, right? We're going to make a date. When I get that Sex Magic deck in, we'll be back here. So make sure you follow me. I'm on Twitter and, of course, here on my Facebook, Instagram. I love me some Instagram, and Twitter and all that jazz. So anyway, so from Mexico City and living in Utah. Oh, there's a story there for sure. All right. So if y'all want to message me, you can do this privately on Facebook or wherever, or email, and message me and let me know if any of this resonated with you. You don't have to tell me what your karmic year was. You don't have to tell me what the event was. You don't have to tell me any of the specifics unless you want to, if that helps you. But I would really love to know if the karmic years that we determined actually happened for you, if yours is in the past. If yours is in the future. Anyway, so we're going to sign off now. We're going to leave it at that. No, don't worry about your karmic year, y'all, if it's in the future. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, we're going to have fun. But stay tuned for more arts and activism shows coming up very soon. And please check out my Kickstarter for my book, Intact Men as They Were Born to Be. I have links for all of that on all my social media, Instagram, here on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of that. Please support my book. If all you do is just share the links, please do so. Thank y'all so much. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off. And y'all have a great night and sweet dreams. Bye.